Hello all of you. Hello all the students. Hope you all are well. Today we are again going to start another new topic in the class of organ and of medicine, and this topic is on indisposition. It is given in aphorism number 150. So welcome to Dr. Saurik's class, and I am here with you to study the organ and of medicine. So this is our Organon of Medicine book, the Organon of Medicine, the 5th and 6th edition. The book is written by Dr. Christian Frederick Samuel Hahnemann, which is translated in the 5th edition by R.E. Dudgeon and the 6th edition by Dr. William Borick. So this is our topic, aphorism number 150. It is indisposition. Now what is the meaning of indisposition? Basically, indisposition is something which is not exactly a completely developed disease. It is something like a disease like conditions which is somewhat the patient feels something uneasy due to some temporary cause. We can say that this indisposition here, it is something which is giving some trivial symptoms, the symptoms which is the patient experiences. These symptoms is actually not the symptoms of a fully developed disease. We can get a number of examples which we will see from aphorism number 7 footnote, and in aphorism number 150 we are getting the what is actually indisposition is. Now another meaning we can see from the dictionary meaning of indisposition is that it is a lack of enthusiasm or something which is not fully energetic, or there may be that something almost like a disease condition. It is not exactly a developed disease. So we can go to the aphorism number 150. Now what is written in aphorism number 150, that if a patient complain of one or more trivial symptoms that have been only observed a short time previously, the physician should not regard these as a fully developed disease that requires serious medical aid. A slight alteration in the diet and regimen will usually suffice to dispel such an indisposition. Now it is a very simple thing, very easy thing. That is, if the patient is suffering or is experiencing some symptoms a very short time previously, and it is somewhat not a very intensified symptoms, and this is somewhat such a type of uneasy feeling. Now the physician should not consider this as a fully developed disease which requires a serious medical aid. The physician should be very sensitive in his observation that this type of symptoms does not require medicine, but what it requires an alteration in the diet and regimen, and this alteration in the diet and regimen will sufficient to dispel this indisposition, is sufficient to complete, or we can say that eradicate this type of indisposition. So I can give you one example here, that is, suppose a number of students, they are having anybody having a birthday party. Okay, generally in today's scenario, if anybody is having his happy birthday and they are having these parties and all, and suppose that all of them are awake till late night, they are having the food, they are having the playings, etc, and one or two of them in the next morning, they are having some symptoms of indigestion, vomiting, and weakness, not feeling so much easy. So actually this is not a condition that it is a fully developed disease. If in this situation, if the physician advises this person that you sleep today, you take a good rest, and do not go with a very exertive day, and you take a rest and sleep, because the lack of sleep and certain changes in the food habit just the previous day is having some sort of symptom, is creating some sort of symptoms or uneasiness within the body. So this is not a completely developed disease where this person requires some serious aid. The the diet and regimen has been altered, and if the patient, we can say that if the patient is having the alteration in the diet and regimen, as correction in his diet and regimen, he will be okay. So this is an example of indisposition. We can cite many other examples. So what we see that regarding this thing, I want to discuss another one more thing, that how can we differentiate between a fully developed disease and an indisposition. The thing is that you see, when we go to the classification of disease, wherever we are talking about the disease, when we go to the classification of disease, you can see that we get an acute disease and a chronic disease, right? Now the acute disease has individual, sporadic and epidemic. These are the three divisions of acute disease. And the chronic disease are artificial chronic disease, pseudo chronic disease and true chronic disease. Now if we see the causation of all these things, all these diseases, in each and every acute diseases there are certain causes, or we can say that the exciting cause. There are some meteoric telluric cause, there are some inundation, famine regarding the epidemic disease, meteoric and telluric cause regarding the sporadic disease, and there are the different types of that is overheating, overeating, certain types of dissipation, certain types of heat and cold, etc., etc. These are type of causation behind the individual acute disease. So regarding the acute diseases, if we get a proper cause and if we get a fully developed symptoms, it will be no hard to differentiate between the indisposition and the acute disease condition. So when we are treating the patient, we have to be very clear about the prominently developing symptom with a background of a proper exciting cause. Now this indisposition has no such exciting cause. Even if you can say that sir, you have given just we have given an example that the some people are having the late night parties, and they are having some sort of indisposition. Now see, there may be, can we consider this as exciting cause? Now see, you can consider this as exciting cause when it is completely developing into an acute disease. There, if we get the symptoms of severe vomiting, severe fever with some sort of indicating symptoms which are matching to your Matria Medica, then we can have this idea that that was the exciting cause, and today this is the acute disease. But there may be some cause, obviously behind the indisposition there are also some causes, but the condition is not in a fully developed disease, as because the symptoms are not very prominent regarding that. He is just in these conditions of indisposition, the patient feels some sort of uneasiness which can be rectified by the correction of the diet and regimen. So the differentiation between indisposition and acute disease is very clear with the exciting cause and the prominently developed symptoms. And regarding the chronic diseases, basically what we say that indisposition, it is not having any type of miasmatic background, not it is long continued, neither as regarding the causation of the different chronic diseases. We can say artificial chronic disease, it is due to the use of long continued allopathic heroic medicine. So there, in this indisposition there is no such background. The true chronic disease, there is a lot of symptoms, so it is very easy to differentiate between the indisposition and the true chronic disease. Indisposition is just a temporary conditions. And regarding the pseudo chronic disease, where the pseudo chronic disease is due to this some faulty diet and regimen, some faulty avoidable noxious agents which the patient is completely having and developing into a chronic disease like condition. So it is very easy to differentiate between the pseudo chronic disease and also the indisposition. So what we are getting here from aphorism number 150, that indisposition is something what it is written there, if the patient is suffering from some trivial symptoms which have been observed a short time previously, so it is the condition of indisposition. It is and it is very easily treated by the alteration in the diet and regimen. Now in aphorism number 150 we are getting this indisposition. Again, if we see aphorism number 7, there is we can get about this indisposition, particularly the footnote of aphorism number 7. So in this slide, this is the aphorism number 7, where it has been told that if in a disease, if there is no chances of or no requirement of removing the maintaining cause, or there is no requirement of removing the miasmatic condition, then the symptoms and the totality of symptom is the only indication to understand about the disease. That is the totality of symptom, that is totality of the outwardly reflected picture of the internal essence of the disease, that is the affection of the vital force. So this is the totality of the symptom, and it has to be removed by the physician, or the duty of the physician is to remove the totality of symptom. This is given in aphorism number 7. We are just recapping this aphorism number 7, and if we see the footnote of aphorism number 7. Now in the footnote of aphorism number 7 it is written that there are certain conditions where the physician has to remove certain things from the body, or the physician has to manage certain things of the body, so that the indisposition is also removed. So there are some examples of these indispositions which is given in the footnote of aphorism number 7. If you go to your book, you can see that in the footnote there it is written that it is not necessary to say that every intelligent physician should first remove these where it exists. What this is the indisposition which is causing something disturbance in the health of the patient. So there are some examples. The indisposition thereupon generally ceases spontaneously. So if the physician removes these some things from this healthy condition or from the body of the patient, the indisposition is automatically ceased. Okay, so what are the examples which have been given by Dr. Hahnemann in aphorism number 7 footnote? He will remove from the room strong smelling flowers which have a tendency to cause syncope and hysterical suffering. So some people, they are having some hysterical tendency due to strong smelling flowers even. So these should be removed from the room. So this is creating some indisposition. Okay, so this, if they are removed, these flowers are removed, the indisposition is also removed. Again, extract from the cornea the foreign body that excites inflammation of the eye. So if something has been fallen to your eye, naturally it will create some redness, some pain, almost like an inflammatory conditions. So if that foreign body is removed from your eye, automatically the eye will become normal. So this is not a disease. So this is an example of an indisposition. Okay, next, another example: a loosen over tight bandage on a wounded limb that threatens to cause mortification. So in an wounded limb, there may be some tight bandaging causes the lack of circulation, and there may be some painful situation. It should be loosened so that the this uneasiness or uneasy feeling will be relieved. So this is another cause, another example of indisposition. And apply a more suitable one, lay bare and put a ligature on the wounded artery that produces fainting. Now sometimes if there is any type of hemorrhage, there are the wound of the artery. So there we see that this can be it should be ligatured, and properly the bleeding should be stopped, so that it can the patient can feel something better. So this is also another example. Endeavor to promote the expulsion by vomiting of belladonna berries, etc., that may have been swallowed. Now if the patient is poisoned by any type of things that causes poisoning, so it is another the duty of the physician to expel this poison out of this body, otherwise the body will be poisoned. So this is another example of removing the poisonous substance from the body which is causing the indisposition. So if the poison is removed, the patient or the person will be normal. Okay, now extract foreign substances that may have got into the orifices of the body. So there are the nose, gullet, ears, urethra, rectum, vagina, etc. So if any by chance, if any foreign substance has been inserted, and it can cause the hazard, so these foreign bodies should be removed mechanically. You often see that for the small babies, generally they play with small things and put into the ear. So these should be removed. And this is causing some the disturbance, and this is the indisposition. Okay, Another example: cross the vesical calculus, open the imperforate anus of the newborn infant, etc. So these are also some other situations, or we can say the conditions, which are, we may say, these are the indisposition. So crossing of the renal calculi, sometimes there is a imperforate anus, or in the newborn there should be perforated mechanically. So all these things, these are not a developed disease, and it can be managed by the this type of procedure, by mechanically removing all these things, or repelling the things from the patient, keep the patient far away from all these things which is disturbing it. So these are the conditions of the indisposition, which you can say. Okay, so this is the footnote of aphorism number 7. You can take the screenshot. Yes, you can take the screenshot, you can see in your book. Now regarding the question, what is indisposition? So you can write aphorism number 150 in your own words, that there are certain conditions which are not a fully developed disease. It is expressed by trivial symptoms which have been seen sometime previously, and these conditions are called indisposition, and which can be the patient can dispel, or the indisposition can be dispelled by correcting the diet and regimen of the patient. So this is very easy subject. And what is the treatment of this indisposition? So you can give all the examples of the footnote 7 which we have just now read, and you can say that the main thing, that no serious medicinal treatment is required in this indisposition. A certain alteration in the diet and regimen is sufficient to dispel such an indisposition, as given in aphorism number 150. Okay, so this is the what we can say, our class on indisposition. It is very easy, and we can get a question of short note on indisposition, or we can get question of question for 2 marks question. So it is a very easy topic, and you can explain it very clearly. Thank you. We'll meet again.